bring the conversation of what can Bratz even do if they continue to do these drops on their website? What can they do to make it go even smoother? What can they do to combat bots? Hi everyone, welcome back to the Out of the Box podcast. This is the Johnny and Chloe Power Hour. Grab some snacks, grab a popcorn, because we're going to be talking about our experience from every single drop of the Mean Girls dolls. We have just experienced the 2-pack release and we're still shaking. My heart is still pounding, but let's bring it to the beginning with the Katie drop. Now, we did do a lot of preparing for the Katie drop because we really didn't know how it was gonna go. I'm not a collector of the Collector dolls, so I don't even collect dolls that way. I'm not someone that's like there refreshing. So it was very new to me. This whole experience was new to me. And what how I prepared is I made sure I had an account, I made sure my address was there, I made sure my card was there. Everything was ready to go. I didn't have anything to do, just go check out and I'm done. So that's for me. How was it for you, Chloe?
Yes. Oh my God. Hi, everyone. Well, it's just you and me, but like, hi, everyone watching, hearing, listening. Oh my God. Same. I am not, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you've watched us for a while or heard us for a while, we're not the biggest like collectors here. So to me, this was a whole brand new experience, like nothing before. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before. So yeah, same. I made sure that I created the account like way in advance. Like I didn't wait last minute. I just like did it way ahead of time. And when I did that, I also ended up filling out like any shipping information, card
Mhm.
information, things like that, just the basics to get you one step closer. Fortunately, Bratz does do Apple Pay, so that just made it a whole lot simpler for me because just a click, Face ID, and you're good to go. So that's how I prepared for the launches, like for the Katie launch, because like at the beginning, Katie. But yeah, I mean, we could get into like all the other things we did to prepare, like adding
Yeah,
the
okay. So the power of manifestation is real because literally, well, I think it was they dropped Thursday. We saw the Mean Girls movie. I think for that week we saw it on Tuesday. So we were like manifesting. We watched the movie in spirit. Spoiler alert, we watched the movie every week for every drop. Just to make sure, just for Regina, I watched it twice. Anywho, but yeah, so we manifested, we had it in our hearts. We filmed that podcast episode with the when we were talking about the initial drop that was going to happen, and we were already saying in that podcast that we already got them. We got Katie. We already have Katie. That's what we the power of manifestation is real. I also have to preface that we are in the United States and it's so like a million times harder to get them like overseas, like all the international people. So it sucks for all of those people, but like we didn't have to go to any other website. I know there was like El Corte Inglés, I know, and then the Amazon listings. I don't even know if they went. Did they even go live for dating stuff?
I have no idea.
I don't
I
remember
literally
them.
have no idea. I feel like yeah, we're very blessed. I don't want people to take this video as us bragging.
No.
We're not bragging. This is just our experience because I feel like we saw a lot of experiences happening as the drops are
Mhm.
going, like every single drop or like every week. This month has just been a lot of people's experiences. So this is just our experiences getting them here in the United States, to everyone who's international who tried to get these dolls. We totally feel you guys. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like I could like we know we're very blessed to be here in the US and be able to get the dolls that are like released here. So in no way, shape, or form do we want to brag. And we know that the whole Amazon thing with the links and all of
Yeah,
that, that was a whole
people waiting for hours and not even Brad's not giving an update, which is so frustrating. Like I put myself in like their shoes and I would be like, what the heck is going on? Like this is not okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I definitely feel for everyone who tried to get them that wasn't in the US. And just like how frustrating it could be, because I also put myself in their shoes and I'm just like, huge Mean Girls fan, huge Bratz fan, and I definitely understand what the frustration. I
Mhm.
can get why there was so much frustration. But going back to the Yasmin thing, I think initially we did it, the slumber party Yasmin, I think we did it to check on shipping. I remember I
Yes,
added
yes,
two.
yes. We wanted to make sure the website offered free shipping. So we added when you go to the shop all page, the first thing that popped up before Katie was there was like the slumber party Yasmin. So we
Yeah,
added two to our cart to make sure the shipping was free. And then we just ended up right before the drop, like 2, 3 minutes before, we add two slumber party Yasmins to our cart and then delete them just to make sure we don't get any more pop-ups. And we didn't know about captures at the time, so thankfully we
yeah,
didn't have captures there. But we just want to make sure there wasn't any pop-ups because we did see some people after they added Katie to their cart, they got a pop-up that like you had to confirm your number. So I'm a very paranoid person. I just want to make sure I was 100% triple checked, all my information is correct. Even if I add stuff to my cart, I'm not going to get any pop-ups. So that was our little hack. We added the two Yasmins and then we delete them like a couple minutes before the drop. And I kept doing that hack every single time for every
me
single
too.
drop. You did that too? Yeah, we did
Yeah,
that. So I don't know if it helped. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I think it did.
But
Honestly, I
yeah,
think it did.
that was our little hack we did in our group chat. Me, Chloe, and Krista were like in our little group chat talking about the drop and getting ready for the drop. Like whenever we're doing like the movie nights with Mean Girls, we're watching. It's us three. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's how we kind of discovered. I don't know if it's a hack, but we discovered to do that little trick.
yeah. We also, I think we really prepared with, like I said, all of our like shipping information, card information. I know the shop pay thing is also like a thing. I think we would do it ahead of time. So when we got the
Yeah.
confirmation number, it was just like a quick, easy 1-2 moment. I'm sure people tried to do the same thing. Maybe, you glitches and internet and Wi-Fi and all of that,
Yeah.
it affects just like
Mm,
everything
yeah.
at the end. Thankfully, no glitches happened
Mm.
here. I think I had like maybe like one or two little mishaps, but even then, I was still very, lucky enough and fortunate enough to get them. I know there was a moment I forgot my card, to switch my card payment or something like that. So like I had to do it like already at checkout, and it was like a really nerve wracking
So
thing.
sporadic. But yeah, we should so let's dive in to how that Katie Day happened. How did was it for us? So for me, it was the first drop. I had no idea. No one had any idea how many they had, if the site was gonna crash, if people were gonna go crazy for the Katie doll, if it was gonna sell out in a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. No one knew. So for me, I did the Yasmin trick, of course. I was logged in. I did the Yasmin trick. I was in there like 5 minutes before, making sure the website worked. I was refreshing. But that's the thing where at that point we didn't know if they were going to be in the Mean Girls tab or the Shop All tab. And for
Yeah,
me, I wasn't in the Mean Girls tab at all. I was refreshing the Shop All tab the whole time. I wasn't in the Mean Girls tab. And so once it turned, they go live here at 10 a.m. Pacific for us. So like when it was 10, I refreshed and she had popped up. For me, it was the most easiest checkout experience ever. I was so shook. I was like, it was add a cart. I added it to the cart, scrolled down, and paid. And that's it. That's all I did. It literally took me less than a minute to check out for Katie, which is wild because a lot of people are having so much trouble. And I didn't know the struggle that people were gonna have to get Katie. And I was even gonna put a post on my Instagram story. I'm like, oh my God, that was the easiest drop ever. But I'm like, thank God I didn't because like I didn't know. But like that is I guess I just got lucky that I was able to check out so quick. It was wild, but yeah, I did the Yasmin trick. I had all my information, just scroll down and paid. That's literally I wish I had more complex stuff, but literally for me, that's how it was. I checked out so quick. And like you could see in the group chat with me, Krista and Chloe, they're like, I was like, bam. It was like it went live, bam. I sent the message, done.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was wild. Like you said, we didn't know what to expect with the first drop. This was I think, our first time doing anything of this sort, of trying to
Mhm.
get a collector doll like online,
Yeah.
and it was just so new to me. I knew I had to be very aware of like what I was doing. So like you said, I logged into my account 10 minutes before. I
Yeah.
made sure all my payment stuff was correct. I made sure shipping was correct. Like I think 5 minutes before the doll launched for us, I was already just waiting to
Mhm.
refresh. I remember me and Krista were on the Mean Girls tab because we thought that's
Mhm.
where they were gonna pop up. And I think I refreshed it 3 times. And when I realized she wasn't popping up, I switched to the shop all tab. And as soon as I switched, she was right there. Added to cart, like you said, added to cart, paid, done. It was literally that simple. Unfortunately, like you said, we don't have like this like huge thing that happened or anything. I mean, that was just our experience. And like you said, yeah, it was super fast and easy and simple, but there was something brewing behind this drop
Oh
because
yes, there was
it is
because
a
after the Katie drop happened, after she sold out, a lot of reactions, a lot of stories people were telling, a lot of spooky, scary stories because they're filming on Halloween, but a lot of stories that it just went really wrong.
yeah,
That like just people like majority of people weren't able to get her, and it sold out immediately. And oh my God, I can't imagine just not being able to get, because I feel like with stuff like this, we shouldn't have to stress out. We don't. It doesn't have to be this way where like our heart is like coming out of our chest like for a doll. So it's just like the fact that like it is that way. It's kind of wild, and the reaction is people were just really upset. A lot of people weren't able to get them. A lot of bots were able to get Katie, and like the resale prices for her were absolutely wild. They were
right.
up to like 200, 250. And it's just a doll that people really really wanted, and it sucked that people weren't able to get her.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. The aftermath of Katie was crazy. I had never experienced something like that. I think in the dog community in general, I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever been so a part of something like this. So it was wild to see everyone's reactions. And it was almost sad to see everyone's reactions because I totally get being disappointed and not getting the dolls. But there was almost this, I want to be very careful because I don't want to offend anyone, but there was a lot of negativity.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of the negativity rose up, and everyone who was very excited and happy that they were able to get them that weren't bots, they almost like, they kind of pulled back and they were like, well, I'm not going to say anything. You know what I mean? Um, and that's kind of like when we first started seeing like those like little things. And I was very much like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like I had never experienced anything like that before or witnessed anything like that before. And things only got worse. Things only got
Yeah,
worse.
things only it's snowball effect. Things just kept getting worse. Moving on to Regina, we were kind of promised that there was going to be more stock, and then so many people were when Bratz had posted the initial Regina post, they were like, oh, we're going to have more stock. It's not because of the stock, some of the Reginas aren't going to ship till December. So people were like championing like, Bratz, oh my God, yes, you listen to us, like, oh, we're going to be able to get her. And spoiler alert, I feel like that went even worse.
I think whereas all the dog collectors were cheering and excited that Bratz was able to like put more, and
Mhm.
yeah, they're gonna take a little bit longer, but they did more and it was like super exciting. The scalpers were also plotting behind the
Mhm.
scenes, and they knew that this drop was something. Um and they were ready. They were ready. And I unfortunate, it's very unfortunate. But, I think the same process for Regina for me, where, we prepared, we watched the
We
movie.
watched Mean Girls again. I watched it twice. We watched it, I believe, we watched it Tuesday, and then I saw it again on Wednesday by
Yeah,
myself. Yeah, so we really did the manifestation.
Same preparations
Yeah.
as Katie, but this time we knew what to expect. Well, can we even say that? Because there were a few things I was not expecting,
Yes,
truly,
yes, truly.
right?
There was some we didn't expect. And I think what was different with the Regina drop is that I had more nerves. I was more nervous for this one because like I said with Katie, we had no idea how it was gonna go. And with Regina, I was shaking. My hands were literally shaking trying to check out and everything.
Cold
But
sweats. I was having,
mhm,
the nerves. I was like,
yeah,
oh, literally.
all of those feelings.
I think we were also more nervous for Regina because we knew that she was a little bit more popular than
Yeah.
Katie. When we would see people like before they release, people would say Katie was the least and the least favorite. And so we were kind of like, well, if we get Katie, cool, because she was the least favorite. But Regina, she's like,
She's the it girl. That's the main girl.
yeah,
Yeah.
like people are gonna go hard for her. So we have to be even more prepared. And I think, we were, but we weren't expecting the captchas.
Oh my God. No, we were not. So I guess let's just hop in to our experiences on getting Regina since
Oh,
I went first. Chloe, let's you go first.
oh my God, no. This one was nerve wracking, you guys. So I was ready. I was there, refreshing as one does. Um, I was able to add her to my cart. I forgot to switch my payment and I had to get out, go switch my payments, come back, and then thankfully I only got one captcha. It was just one. It popped up. I was able to solve it. It went through. I feel like I was edging the end. Like I feel like if I waited 30 seconds more, I would have
Would have
not
been
gotten
gone.
her. It was so nerve wracking that when I got her, I was just glad I got her. I was like, I don't care if she arrives in December. Like, I'm just glad I got her. I don't want to pay a scalper price. I don't want to do any of that. So, it was a little bit more nerve wracking than Katie. And there were a few, hiccups here and there. But overall, she was secured. I was happy. What about you?
Which is, I just want to add that it's so wild that you had to get out and change your card info and you still got her. Like that is iconic. Like what the heck? I would
It was
have been
like,
like, nope. I would have been like, that's it. I'm done. I didn't get her.
I honestly thought I wasn't gonna get her because of that.
Mm.
I thought I lost like precious seconds, like doing the switcheroo and having to like do the capture and all that. I really and waiting because I think I waited in line for I want to say like maybe a minute,
Mhm.
and even a minute in that moment feels like
Forever.
forever. Like
Forever.
yeah,
Mhm.
every second it's going by, you're just like I'm not gonna get her. I'm not gonna get her. Like this is too long. I didn't wait this long last time, so like I'm definitely not getting her. But I do think the extra stock that they did help out a little bit in that
Mhm.
process. So you know what? She was secured.
She she was secured.
Was I sweating and shaking and crying and throwing up? Yeah, yeah. But she was secured.
She was secured.
Yeah,
As you should. So for me, getting Regina, I did the Yasmin hack. I added the two Yasmins, took them away from my cart, made sure everything was empty, and then refreshing. And a thing I do with all of these drops that I did with Katie as well is that once it turns into 9:59, in my head, I count down the seconds. So I know when it's gonna turn right to 10. So that's when I start refreshing and refreshing. So I did that, and then for me it crashed. I think it crashed once or twice, and I'm like, oh my God. And then so like I refreshed again, and then I added her to my cart. I got a captcha. I got one captcha. For me, it was only one. Thank the Bratz gods or whoever I need to thank. I only got one captcha. It was like a motorcycle, and I had to click on all the squares that had the motorcycle contained the motorcycle, and it was in that little corner. So I
yeah.
clicked all those. It went through. For me, I didn't have to be in the line. I didn't wait in line. After I did the captcha, it just went to the pay. I did the captcha, confirmed out a robot, scrolled, and paid. So
Oh
this
my
one
God.
kind of went pretty fast as well for me too. But I think the problem was that so many people were getting the captchas. They were getting a ton of captchas. I saw videos and like TikToks and the people getting a captcha after captcha after captcha after captcha. And like at that point, she had already sold out. And like the website would glitch too. So like some people they had the glitch where they got the captchas. Some people got the glitch where they waited in line and it just they waited in line. People
Yeah.
were waiting in line for like 10, 15 minutes. And then another glitch that it had added Katie to people's carts. And
And
then
it would,
once they did make it to checkout, Katie wasn't available. So they had to go back into the line. And then once it was their turn, it was already sold out. And there was
yeah.
nothing they could have done.
I think we can speak on that glitch like personally because Krista actually got
Yeah.
the glitch and that was, so unfortunate because she also did end up getting like three captchas, I think,
Yeah.
right? Three or four. And it just sucked because we all like informed each other like when we got them and she unfortunately was not able to get them herself. Um so that was unfortunate. I think that was the first time we were like,
I
oh
know.
no,
We
like
were like,
I
oh
think
my
that
God,
was the
this is
first time
so
we felt like
yeah.
what's gonna happen next time. If it was this bad, what's gonna happen next time? And of course, all the scalpers with the bots, if you know anything about bots and all that, they bypass through the captchas. So they were able to get the first batch of all of these dolls
Yeah.
before anyone else. I think our numbers were like in the 10,000, 12,000, like,
Yeah, they were really high. Yeah. And
yeah,
it's compared to Katie, because I was in the 5,000s for Katie.
I was in the 6,000s for Katie.
Yeah.
It like doubled. It doubled, and all the scalpers got them before any of us. And obviously they started. That was a whole other thing. We'll get into that because that was crazy. What happened after after she sold out?
Yeah, because immediately after she sold out, I went to I was like, I hope she doesn't sell out as fast as Katie did, especially since they said that they added more. I'm like, oh, maybe we'll get like 5 minutes, maybe we'll get like 6 minutes. I think she sold out three, 3 minutes.
Three,
She
three.
sold out really, really quick, and had it didn't feel like the added stock that they did made it any more easier to get the doll, especially with so many glitches from the website that I feel like this one was even worse than Katie. I feel like even less people got Regina, which
Yeah,
from the immediate reaction from the people, I feel like it was bad for Katie, but feel like it was even worse. It was even worse for Regina. I think also because for the fact that Bratz kind of gave the fans some like a hope that like,
mhm.
oh, we have a more of a chance to get her. But it really wasn't that way. A lot of people ended up just still not being able to get her, and it is really sad. And a lot of people's reactions were very angry, and I understand people's anger because I'm like, if I was in that, I would also. Well, I'm not angry in a way, but I'd be like, oh my God, it sucks so
Yeah.
much that I wasn't able to get her. Like I
Disappointed.
don't.
It would be sad. You
Yeah,
know, we collect dolls, to us dolls are our hobby. They're what brings us joy and obviously something as big as Bratz Mean Girls, it brings joy to a lot of people. So like to miss out on them, it's gonna suck. I didn't anticipate all the scalpers getting the amount of dolls that they did because later on we started seeing that scalpers were bragging that they
yeah,
got so many Reginas, and eBay was filled with listings of Regina, quadruple the price, ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. And I think they weren't expecting for the Bratz or the doll community to respond to any of their actions. And I think this is something beautiful when you can like come together for something and like everybody came together and started reporting the listings, and they started clapping back. They started attacking back. A lot of people withheld from purchasing from scalpers. So all of that did eventually help. Like to this day, it did eventually help because where we started with the prices with Regina at the when she first released to now, the prices have literally dropped. Not retail, but they dropped and they're slowly dropping. And so it was wild to see that so many like scalpers were gloating about the fact that they got these limited edition collector dolls and how they were going to try for Karen and Gretchen and how it was so simple for them and to join. It was very frustrating. I can understand. Obviously, I understand like, you know, these people don't understand, they're just there to make a profit, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it is what it is, that happened. And just touching back on the whole like people being, negative, I think this is when it got the
Yeah.
worst.
It
I
got really bad.
think
Yeah.
this was probably the point where I was like, they're just dolls. You know what I mean? Like, I think I saw so much negativity, and I don't mean it for the people who are genuinely just sad or upset. I mean it like in the sense that it brought out a lot of ugly people. Like people were commenting on other people's comments or posts or whatever, very negative, hateful, hurtful things for no reason because they weren't able to get the dolls. And I can totally understand that, but even if I didn't get them, I don't think I would go to someone's post or comment and say something negative or bad
Yeah.
to them because they did get them. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the frustration with the bots. I understand the frustration with the scalpers. I don't understand the frustration with fans who were able to get the dolls. You know what I mean? Like, I think we both experienced this where we commented something on a Bratz post or whatever the case may be, right? We made a comment on our stories or whatever, and people had the nerve, strangers, complete strangers, to go and troll and, be hurtful and hateful. And that's when I was like, okay, people are taking it out of context. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, but also they're dolls. Calm down. Like, you're doing a little too much here. So, I mean, you can talk about your experience because I know that you had like a couple of, a couple of comments.
I know it's just brats love to pin me. Brats just love to highlight my comments so people can just say the nastiest things on them.
I know.
Yeah, I think it was for the Regina one that when they had posted the post, I was like, oh, an hour left. I put a comment, oh, so you think she's really pretty? And then they pinned that comment. And so like after the whole debacle of no one able to get Regina, they were sending so many hate comments to me. It was like, why am I getting hate comments for? Like it's not my fault. It's just
Yeah,
and I think for you as well, didn't someone say like it's funny now, but I'm like, didn't someone say to you like, oh, hope yours gets lost? And
that was for
like
Katie. That was for
I
Katie.
was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like why are people like you said, I completely understand being upset, being angry, being sad, but like let's not get to the point where we're being rude to each other, especially since we're in the doll community. Let's not tear each other down.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the scalpers and the bots because at the end of the day, it wasn't us that's scalping. We truly love and want the product. So
Yeah.
I just it made it into something ugly where it's like I saw that people had gotten the Regina doll, but they were scared to post her because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna get hate, or oh, people are gonna get mad
Mm-hmm.
from our own community. It's not like the scalpers and the bots are coming here and like telling us rude stuff. It's within our own community,
Yeah.
which was
That's what
very
they're.
upsetting. Which was
Mhm.
very upsetting. I feel
I,
like it shouldn't be that way.
I definitely agree. It was very, I think we got a little bit of taste of it with Katie, but it wasn't to the
Mhm.
degree that it became like over time the Katie release kind of built up into the Regina release. And then by the time Regina released, people were, being
Yeah,
very
people are up to
hateful.
here.
And
Yeah.
I totally get the people who are upset and frustrated with the bots, with the scalpers, with Bratz, with the whole situation. Um, but within each other, our community, and for people to go and be hateful and rude and just argue because I was lucky enough to get a doll that they weren't. I don't get that. Like I've never understood people being hateful just to be hateful. Um it's a whole thing, but like, that happened and I did see a lot of people withheld from posting or being happy or celebrating that they were able to get them. And that sucked. That really sucked because when something like this happens, where it's like this big collab, super stressful, the relief you get when you actually get the doll, the product, and you're done and you're excited, you're happy, you want to share. I'm glad I have like you and Krista, and we were able to celebrate within our group chat and ourselves. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I would have posted anything. I was still posting on my stories and stuff, but I don't know if I would have
Yeah.
posted to that degree if I didn't have you guys,
Yeah.
there, and we were able to like just cheer. I mean, like even Krista wasn't able to get Regina, and she was happy for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was excited, all of that, and that's what you do. You support your friends and your community, and I think that a lot of the people who weren't able to get Regina and were just genuinely hateful people and were jealous, it showed and it brought them out. This release, this collab
Yeah.
brought out the uglies. It really did.
Yeah. I think there's a way you can get your point across without being hateful or rude.
Mm-hmm.
I just it's just I don't think it should be that way. I would also like to add that we still don't have Regina yet. We got
Oh
her
yeah,
like the last batch, probably the last batch, because all the scalpers got them. Going back to the bots, there were so many posts that were I think it was on Reddit. They had posted that this one person had like a giant stack of like 40 boxes of Regina.
more. It's probably like 100 boxes, girl.
Oh my God. 'Cause there was so many pictures that like people had tons of them. And then they were bragging on Twitter. They're like, oh, our members were able to secure this many dolls and they're making this much profit. And I
Join
think this
us.
join us. They had the audacity to be like, well, if you can't beat us, join us. Here, use the code BRATS. Use the code BRATS for like 20% off your first month of our service for the being a bot. And I was like, oh my God, these people, the audacity these bots have, they really don't care. The scalpers, they do not care. They really just want the bag. And then I
Yeah.
think that's what started the whole war between the doll community and the scalpers, because I feel like we'll talk about the next drop, but I feel like this whole war thing and then taking the listings down and not being silent and going all the doll people going to Twitter and talking to the scalpers and be like, we're not gonna pay the scalper prices, like we're not gonna give in. I think that was beautiful to see. I really
Yeah.
I really did enjoy seeing that, and I think that affected the next drop.
Yeah. For sure, for sure, for sure.
Speaking of the next drop,
We're
which is
here.
we're filming it today. Today we're filming. We just experienced the drop, so it's fresh in our minds. Um,
Fresh.
well, I don't think we did anything different to prepare for this one. It was very much we knew what we were going into. Bratz yet again had posted that they're gonna do more
Yes.
stock. That some is not gonna get there till December. So okay, they have extra stock for this one too. So maybe it won't be too bad, but going into it, I was a mess. Going into it, like the 10 minutes before, 30 minutes before, an hour before, I was like getting so nervous. I I didn't mention this for the Regina one, but like after I paid, my hands were shaking for a good 5 minutes and my heart was like pounding so fast. I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't feel this way for a doll drop. But for Karen and Gretchen, I was very much focused. I was in Zen mode. And then the good thing they did for this drop is that they had already had the listing on the shop all. It had coming soon. So
Yes.
I was already on. I was on the coming soon tab. I was already on Karen and Gretchen. And then once I did the thing where of course I did the two Yasmin hack. The thing about
As
that,
you
I did the two Yasmin hack. It gave me a captcha. It gave me a captcha. Just one.
and it helped. It helped.
I
It,
did the one captcha because I did the Yasmin hack like 2 minutes before the drop. I did the captcha. I was like, okay, you're not a bot. And then I went to my cart, removed them, went back, and then just stayed refreshing till it turned 10, which was the time for the drop. I refreshed. It took a little bit for it to be at the cart, which was made me a bit nervous. I added it to my cart. I skipped the captcha because I feel like it's because I had already done it a couple minutes before with the Yasmin hack that it didn't even put me in doing captchas. So I skipped the captchas at all. I didn't have to do a single one. I once I added it to my cart, it immediately put me in the waiting line, which oh my God, the waiting line, that was the longest 2 minutes of my life. My heart was beating so fast, my hands were shaking. It was like 10:01, 10:02, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna get it." And then as soon as the page refreshed, scroll down and paid, and I was the happiest. I was like, "Oh my God, there is no way I was successful in all three drops." And then I went to the group chat and celebrated. But that's
yeah.
how my experience went. It wasn't too bad. I really, really do feel like I ate with that Yasmin hack. I feel like I ate. Oh,
It worked. At the end of the day, our stressing, our preparing, our paranoia, it ended up paying out because same girl, I was able to, I kept comparing this to like a battle, like a video game battle where like the first two, it was the first round, the second round, we're at the end. We're at the final
like we've
boss.
come this far. We
We made it
can't
to the most
lose. Yeah.
expensive, double the dolls. If the scalpers get a hold of these, they're going to be scalped double the price. It's going to be wild. So I was so nervous. I was shaking. I wanted to throw up and cry at the same time. It was, like you said, I shouldn't feel this for dolls,
Yeah.
but it's just like the nerves of, I think, Regina, like all of that.
Yeah.
I think that's what got to me because I was like, are more people going to try for these? Are less people going to try? Like, I wasn't sure going into it, like what to expect. I was like, the captchas, oh my God, what's going to happen? I ended up doing two captchas. I think I messed up
Oh,
on the first one, and then I got the second one, and then I went through. But that line,
the
that
line is what gets
waiting
you, isn't that? I hate that line.
3 minutes every single time, it would be like 10:01, 10:02.
Mhm.
By the time we made it to 10:03, and I was like, oh, I'm not getting them. I'm in line way
Especially
too
since
long.
you saw our messages going through.
I saw Krista got them, and then I saw your message, and I was like, I'm not gonna get them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be one of the chosen ones. And something, the doll gods, the Brad gods, they blessed me because it went through. I clicked pay. She was done. Order number. Thank you for your order. I was like, I cannot believe
Confirmed.
I was able to get all three drops, a full set, retail. Like
Wild, right?
insane. Insane. Like that's crazy. I'm so glad we were able to get them.
Yeah.
Krista was able to get them. We had backups. So we should talk about that too. The preparation, not just us, but you and Krista also got people to help you guys try to get them, right? So
Yeah.
you could talk a little bit more about that because we did that way the was it for the Katie and Regina?
For Katie, I think
It was
Krista
just
had it was just Krista. And then for Regina, I had asked my brother. I had
yeah.
asked my brother to help me, and I think Krista had a couple of coworkers of hers
And her
try to
mom.
help her too for Regina, and nobody succeeded. Literally nobody succeeded. So it was like whenever Krista told us, we're kind of going back to Regina, but when Krista told us that she wasn't able to get her and none of her backups did, and my brother didn't either. I was telling Chloe we got extremely lucky because I feel like we said, not that many people got them. And like I was kind of in that feeling of like, how did we even do that? How are we
Yeah,
able to get the doll? Because we're also in a dolly group chat with some of our Instagram friends, and a majority of the people there didn't get her either. So I feel like for Regina, majority of the people that got them were the bots. So we were kind of like in disbelief that we were even able to get them.
I, yeah, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. It was insane. I'm telling you, that Regina drop traumatized everyone. That Regina drop was the one that she lived up to the reputation of being the mean girl, the Regina, the it girl. Like
Uh,
all the drama that surrounded her drop was insane. It was insane.
yeah,
Um, Crazy. The fact that I didn't have backups, like
yeah,
that was
both are.
risky.
Mm.
That was risky. Like, you know what? I am just glad. I'm just glad we went through this experience.
Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to get them all. I'm glad for this drop. It was surprising because I don't know if they doubled the stock like for the Regina one and then they tripled it for this one or whatever. But I saw a lot more people getting them.
yes. Yeah,
I
it
saw
was
more
a
people
lot
being
more positive that people had got them because for Regina, I was like, I felt like I almost was rare to see that someone got them. But
mm-hmm.
in our like we got them, we were able to get the two pack. Krista got them. Most of our friends in the Instagram group chat got them. I was scrolling through the comments before this episode, and it seems like a bunch of people got got them as well. But
Yeah.
the glitch still happened for this drop. I was lucky that it didn't happen to me, but like the glitch where I think this time Regina was in people's
Mm-hmm.
carts and they weren't able to once they were in line, it had like oh, the two pack is available, but at the bottom it would be like Regina is not available, and it would still be in your cart, and it would make you wait. And then as soon as you get to checkout, as soon as it's your turn, because you had Regina in there, it would put you back into the line.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, some people weren't able to get the two pack because of that glitch. So the glitch still persisted. They didn't, I don't know if they knew about the glitch. They didn't fix it, but yeah, but overall, I feel like this the two pack drop had a lot more positivity. A lot of people were more successful in getting this two pack, which I do love. I do love seeing that
Yeah.
a lot more people were able to get the two pack. I do feel like it's kind of one of the contributing factors is that what happened with the people fighting the bots, fighting that people that are like, we're not going to pay these prices. We're going to take down your listings on eBay. You're not going to make money back. So I feel like that contributed to I feel like the bots didn't go as hard. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we were
Um,
checking a little bit before starting to film, and we were checking eBay to see if any listings were up, and we saw the listings, and they're still high. Yes, it's still ridiculous, scalping, but it's not what I expected. Like going into it, I thought these dolls were going to be reselling for $300 to $400.
yeah, since it's a
Let's
two
be
pack.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're not. They're reselling between 100 to 200,
yeah.
like in general, like 100 to well, no, like 150 to 200.
150 to 200. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like $50 to $100 more, which yeah, it's still a lot. Like, of course you don't want to pay scalpers. But I think a lot of them got scared and they were like, if
yeah,
one, we go for a lot of them, it's gonna be hell to get rid of them. And two, if we price them too high, they're still gonna not buy them
yeah,
and we're stuck with the
yeah,
stock and drop it all the way down, which is what happened with Regina. She ended up going down and the price keeps going down. So, you know, it is true what I saw somebody in the group chat say, the scalpers will drop the price the lowest you're willing to pay. So when people start paying the price that they're willing to pay to get the dolls, that's where they're gonna end
Yeah.
the drop. So, I would say like hold out, but there are people out there who can hold out, and that's totally understandable. Like I get it, but I think with this release, it went a lot smoother than Regina for sure. But
Yeah.
also, I feel like a lot of people were able to get them,
Yeah.
which made me a lot happier. There's still a few trolls there, commenting and being hateful, but it is what it is. It's how the cookie crumbles, and not sponsored. And
Maybe.
and yeah, I mean, I so happy we're able to do this. So happy we're able to get them.
I know. I'm kind of
Wait,
happy it's over though, because oh my God, a whole month of stress. Mm-mm. Not good. But
when
yeah,
they said they really did give us spooky season,
I know. It's gonna be the most iconic October 3rd, the most iconic Halloween in a while. For like more
right?
stressful and scary. This is the scariest Halloween in a while.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Crazy.
Glad it's over. But now that it's over, I wanna bring the conversation of what can brats even do if they continue to do these drops on their website? What can they do to make it go even smoother? What can they do to combat the bots? Like, is there anything they can do, or just have to? The bots are gonna, the scalpers are just gonna get it. Is there anything that they can even do?
Uh, I think scalpers will still be scalping. It is what it is. It's
Mm.
I think the society and normalness of our society right now. My sister had made a question, like she had made a comment the other day, and she was like, I had never heard of scalpers. I had never heard of
Really?
any of that. When did that start? And I told her, I think it started when COVID started because a lot of people started collecting. A lot of people also lost a lot of jobs. So there were, people needed a way to make ends meet, and a lot of people went to reselling. So that's how it kind of started. Now it's gotten, I think, to a point where it is ridiculous because people are working, the prices are higher, So like, yeah. Um, is there anything Bratz can do? I don't know. I honestly don't know because if I don't know, like this is my first time experiencing something like this, so I wouldn't know what they can do. I think if there is something they can do, I think they should do it.
Yeah.
I think they should learn. I think overall this was their first time doing something like this. So I think they'll learn from all of the mistakes, from the experience for the next collab or whatever that they want to launch like this. I do hope they learn and they fix it. Um, because it was kind of unfortunate for a lot of us to be super excited for this, only for it to become something so negative. I
Yeah.
remember seeing comments and people were just like very like, I'm not even gonna try anymore. Like you guys have
Yeah.
disappointed me. This isn't fun. Like I don't even want to buy Bratz anymore. And that's sad. It was sad to see those comments, but I think, we all make mistakes. We all have to learn from them. I hope Bratz does learn from them and can somehow make it easier for fans and collectors to get them and make it harder for the bots and the scalpers. I don't know what, like I wouldn't know what they could do, to bypass that. So
Yeah, funny you mentioned about the scalper thing because um long ago, I used to my first experience with scalpers was I collect if you guys are gamers, I collected Nintendo, they were called Amiibo. They were like little big gaming figures of like Nintendo characters.
mhm.
And it was for a game called Smash Bros for the Wii U, and people would scalp those. I would have to go to the store early in the morning, and even then, people would camp out like the night before, or like they'll camp out like at right when the store closes, they'll camp out right there. And it's like if you're not first to get them, they're gone. And whenever there would be online exclusives, it would be two per order, but two per person, and people would also scalp those. And like they would be in wild prices. I remember I forgot which one it. There was three. There was three. There was a Marth. There was a Wii Fit trainer. There was an Animal Crossing. Chloe's like, "What are you talking about?" But those were like crazy prices. Those are like super, super high. Like people were scalping, you couldn't find them in stores. So that was my experience with scalpers. So I'm not a stranger to scalpers, but also I don't want them in the dog community. We don't need them here. I think it's very we kind of giving them a taste of what the dog community will do if you mess with any other future drops. Now with the conversation of what can Bratz do, I have an idea. I have an idea. So
Okay.
everyone screen record.
Ah,
But my brother was telling me that for my brother's a sneakerhead. He collects shoes. He loves the shoes. The shoe drops. There's scalpers for shoes. There's warehouses, tons of shoes. People have like 100 pairs of shoes that they scalp and they sell them for ridiculous prices. But he was telling me something that I think could work for Bratz. So if get this message to Bratz, please. So my brother was telling me that on one of these shoe drops specifically, they listed the shoes as $10,000.
you were
And
telling
you
me
had
that.
to scroll down to the web on the website page, and there was a code that you entered, like a little coupon code that would drop the price to regular price for everyone. The bots don't know to scroll down. The bots don't know to enter that code. So the bots would freeze up. The bots would freeze up and they wouldn't enter the code and they would buy the shoes for $10,000. They would buy, oh my God, he was telling me how this person that bought like 50 pairs was absolutely livid. He bought them for that much. Oh my God, which is wild, but I'm like, Bratz could do that. Bratz could do something like that where maybe not even increase the pricing, but it's like you cannot buy this listing until you put the little code. It's not like, oh, it's like not a pre-sale, but like you won't be able to hit add to cart. Like it'll be grayed out. And the question would be, oh, what's one of the four Bratz packs? You can like have Yasmin, Chloe, Sasha Jade, any of the four, enter them in there. And then it lets you buy it because
Oh,
bots cannot do that. Bots aren't going to know the question. They don't know how to program that into the software that they have. So like let's do like an exclusive code. They can put it on their Instagram, they could send it out in an email. They're like, this is the code that you're going to enter a keyword to be able to buy it. And I feel like that could kind of, I don't know the technology that these bots have, these scalpers have, but I feel like that would add another layer, which would make it harder for
security, yeah.
scalpers
Instead
to
of the
even get them.
captchas,
Yeah, because I
because
feel
they
like
can
the
have
captures
stuff.
at the end of the day, I think that kind of made it worse for
Yeah,
us because the bots, they're automatic, they're trained, they and they pay. That's it.
yeah,
For us, especially for me, I like have to like really, really, really need to focus and like look and make sure that like I got everything correct and then do it. So I feel like the captchas really did screw up a lot of people. And I feel like with having to enter some exclusive code that like they don't know what it is. They're not like I said, they're not these scalpers aren't part of the dog community. It's gonna be something where like they have to make sure they're constantly looking at the stories, have to make sure they're signed up for the email or they scroll down for the email, scroll down the website, however they want to present this solution. I feel like that could work.
yeah. I like that idea. Brats, you listening? I like that idea. I think
Listen,
it could work. It could work. We could test it out. Test it out. Shut
let's
down the
just test
website
out
and
the
test it
water.
out.
Let's test out the waters on the next drop, which speaking of next drop, do you think down the line we will get a restock of these Bratz Mean Girls dolls, or is this it? Are we not gonna get any more?
I think, would I like it? Yes. Do I think it's gonna happen? Maybe. I my thing is this whole Mean Girls drop, this whole month has been so crazy.
Mhm.
I don't know if Bratz wants to go through that
Not a
again.
lot again. Yeah, especially since
Yeah.
if they do restock, there's still gonna be people that don't get them.
You know that is the name of the game. Not everyone is gonna have them. That was one thing I kept seeing people talking about a lot was why did you guys make it a limited super limited release? Why didn't you guys release them worldwide? Why weren't they available in every store? Why, you know? And at the end of the day, we don't know the negotiations that they had to do. We don't know the contracts. We don't know. It's not just Bratz, they're
It's a collab.
collaborating with
Yeah, with
brands.
an IP.
They also have a say in how much product gets made. They also have a say in where the availability, the exclusiveness, the just all of that. All of that is like behind the scenes stuff. We don't get to see that. In a perfect world, yeah. We all in store go to Walmart and pick up 20, like yeah, of course. But unfortunately that's not how it works.
Yeah,
Uh, that's not how a collector doll works. And we know this with Monster High and Barbie, it's very rare when they restock. And also, we don't know how many they do restock. I think if they do a restock, it's going to be like all three at the same time, and it's going to be just a limited amount. Like, I don't think they're going to do a huge restock. I think this release was meant to be an October release. It was meant to celebrate Mean Girls Day slash month. It was supposed to tie in with that, and I think that was part of the negotiations. It was like just October, limited to however many they chose. These are the prices. Like at the end of the day, we don't know any of that. So
yeah,
would I like to see them restock? Yes. Will they? I don't think so. I don't think they will, only because of how things went down with this whole release
yeah,
and launch. And it also doesn't help people harassing them and like calling them out and names and all, like that doesn't make you want to do it again. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So like from that perspective, I don't think they will personally, but they could surprise us. I don't know.
No, yeah, I feel the exact same way that like for me personally, I want them to do a restock so more collectors can get them, but I just feel like they're not. Kind of just for the same reasons that you said. And it's not only on Bratz. And that's gonna be like, oh my God, how Bratz could you do this? Like Bratz, you need to restock Bratz, this and this. Like at the end of the day, this is a collab with an IP with Paramount. I'm sure, like Chloe said, we don't know the contract. We don't know what they signed. I don't feel like it's when you're doing a collab like this, I don't think it's easy. We're like a snap of a finger, let's just make a ton more and put them in
Mm-hmm.
stores. It's so much in the background, like so many business meetings, negotiations that they have to do with Paramount for this IP to even have made this happen. There was
Yeah.
had to be so many behind the scenes, so many meetings, so many how are the dolls gonna look, how many of each character, how many of this and this and this. Obviously, we don't know the amount, which I feel like after the Katie, the whole people weren't able to get Katie, that's when they were able to take action and make a couple more, which was a blessing. But I feel like it's when it's something like this, I feel like it's really hard to just put, like I said, like a snap of a finger, it's not gonna happen that way. If they
Yeah.
are to restock at some point, just just be patient because if Bratz wanted to do a restock, I'm sure they would. Because people are like, oh my God, why is Bratz not Bratz wants money? They could have made so much more money, but like at the end of the day, it's not only up to Bratz. They also need the green light from Paramount Plus, the IP, and they have to have more contracts, more because maybe in the contract it wasn't that like this is the amount we're gonna make and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as Bratz go make more.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I'm like usually for a doll release, anything like that, anything release, anything that you're planning to release, you always plan it out like almost a year in advance. So this was a long time in the
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
We don't know how long they had been planning this. Also talking about that, I'm like, all of the dolls from what we saw were pretty much already done and ready to be shipped.
yeah,
Because when we got our Katie, we got her really fast.
yeah,
The For Regina, a lot of the scalpers got her really fast because they were able to get the first batches. I think it was later on that I guess they must have talked to Paramount and stuff and said, "Can we make more? Can we add a little bit more?" And that's why the shipping date extended
yeah,
to December, because they're rushing to try and get more of these dolls out again. we don't have numbers. We don't know how many more they added to the stock for Regina, Katie, and I mean Regina, Karen, and Gretchen. Like we don't know that. You know, it could have been just 5,000 more. It could have been 100 more. It could have been 20,000. Like we're not sure, and we don't even know how many they started with to begin with. So I did see, all of that, and like you said, I would love a restock. I would love them to do a surprise restock down the line. I think this collab was so thought out down to the packaging to the October
Yeah.
3rd.
Hmm.
So if I do see a restock in the future, it might be next year around October 3rd again. Is what I'm guessing. Is what I'm guessing. They did sell out, so they do have the numbers to show that they could sell out, So that might, persuade whoever to make more.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Woo! Well, we went on a whole Mean Girls journey that we recapped all of our experiences. But we would love to know everyone's experiences for all of the drops. So let us know down below your experience for all three because we would love to read them.
Yeah.
I know we can't reply to every single comment, but we do love reading them all. So we would love to know your experiences, how it went. But yeah.
Who
Um
did you get? Who didn't you get?
yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said, this has been Johnny and Chloe.
And Chloe.
And Chloe. This has
And Chloe.
been the Out of the Box podcast. Here's my Katie. My
Mine's
Katie says goodbye.
somewhere. Somewhere over
She's somewhere. She's somewhere living.
there. She's
But
living.
she's living. But until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.